going to read Matthew 24. Signs of the end of the age. It starts out, Jesus left the temple and was walking away when his disciples came up to him to call his attention to its buildings. "Do you see all of these things?" he asked. "I tell you the truth, not one stone here will be left on another. Every one will be thrown down." As Jesus was sitting on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately. "Tell us," they said, "when will this happen, and what will be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" Jesus answered and said, "Watch out that no one deceives you, for many will come in my name, claiming, 'I am the Christ,' and they will deceive many. You will hear of wars and rumors of wars, but see to it that you are not alarmed. Such things must happen." Guys, are wars going on right now? But the end is still to come. Nation will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom. There will be famines and earthquakes in various places. All these are the beginning of birth pains. Are there people who are going hungry right now and starving to death in the world?
Oh, yeah.
Are there earthquakes happening in the world?
Yep.
Remember the earthquake where they had the big tsunami? It killed 250,000 people.
We don't know about the earthquake in Haiti.
Yeah, 300,000 people died. What about the earthquake in Chile?
I didn't even hear about that.
They said it was 8.8 on the Richter scale. It was so strong that it changed the axis of the earth just a little bit.
What does that mean?
It changed the tilt of the earth a little bit.
I learned that in school.
Oh my gosh!
There was an earthquake in Chile.
That's amazing.
An earthquake in Chile? You learned it in school?
Chile?
Wow, yeah, well.
Chile's a type of land.
This is, when Jesus said these words, guys, it was 2,000 years ago. How did he know? He knew we would be fighting wars. He knew there would be famines. And he said there would be earthquakes in various places. Can you believe that he said that 2,000 years ago? Let's finish. He says in verse 9, "Then you will be handed over to be persecuted and put to death, and you will be hated by all nations because of me." Are Christians hated sometimes just because they believe in Jesus?
I say it at school a whole bunch of times. You know, Austin just hates me. He's a classmate at school because I'm Christian. He beats me up all the time, but I always turn my cheek and forgive him.
Because Jesus told us to? To love our enemies.
Yep,
and
that's
bless
right.
those who curse us. Why do you think that Christians will be hated because of Jesus? Why will people hate you just because you follow Jesus?
Because of the devil.
Okay. At that time, many will turn away from the faith and will betray and hate each other. Are people betraying each other?
Oh yeah, big time.
Many false prophets will appear and deceive many people. What's a false prophet? That's somebody who teaches you to do bad things.
Oh, yeah.
Are there false prophets?
Well, I see them all the time.
You do, huh?
You see, one time, well, one of my friends at school told my friend Trey to do something very bad.
Uh-huh.
I don't remember what he did, but it was very bad.
Oh, so we have to look out for people who teach us to do bad things.
You know, one time, a long time ago, well, when I first got to school, these 4 boys had this sharp, stick. It was kind of like a knife, but they got it on my eye here. It made me bleed, but I didn't fight back. I just turned the right cheek, and I walked away. I forgave the boys, but I told the teacher that I really hurt it bad. So I had some bandages, and, well, I never played with them or saw them again.
You know what Jesus said about that?
What?
Blessed are you when men hate you and despise you and speak evil against you falsely for my sake. You're blessed.
I'm blessed?
Mm-hmm. When somebody bears false witness against you, when they speak evil against you, when they do evil things to you, because of Jesus, Jesus says we're blessed. We're not to fight back. What did Jesus say? We're to love our
enemies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because of the increase of wickedness, the love of most will grow cold. What does that mean, Sarah, when people's love grows cold?
That means they don't love each other anymore.
Is that happening in the news? Do you think people are starting to stop? Are they starting to stop loving each other?
Uh-huh.
How do you know?
Because we watch the news.
When you watch the news and you see people do really mean, horrible things to each other, when they kill each other and they steal from each other, and they rip each other off and they do evil things to each other, do they love each other?
No.
No.
That's horrible.
They've quit loving, haven't they?
Yes.
Their love has begun to grow cold. And this gospel of the kingdom will be preached in the whole world as a testimony to all nations. And then the end will come. Is the gospel being preached all over the world?
Yes.
It is. People just like us are sharing Jesus with other people all over the world. So when you see standing in the holy place the abomination that causes desolation, spoken of through the prophet Daniel.
Hey, Dad, what does abomination mean?
Abomination? That's a good question. An abomination is something that's horrible. It's a bad thing.
Why is the first word called bomb? Is it because it has bombs?
No. It doesn't have bombs, but an abomination means it's a really bad thing.
Like what happens?
Well, this was prophesied by the prophet Daniel thousands of years ago. Even long before Jesus, Daniel prophesied about the abomination of desolation. And it involves a man who will set himself up in the temple, and he will receive worship to himself. So basically the idea of an abomination is when you worship man instead of worshiping Jesus or worshiping God. When you worship something that man made or a graven image instead of worshiping the one true God. Do you understand?
Okay.
Then let those who are in Judea, Jesus said, flee to the mountains. Let no one on the roof of his house go down to take anything out of the house. Let no one in the field go back to get his coat. How dreadful it will be in those days for women and nursing mothers. Pray that your flight will not take place in the winter or on the Sabbath, for there will be great distress, unequaled from the beginning of the world until now, and never to be equaled again. If those days had not been cut short, no one would survive. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be shortened. So what does that mean? That means if Jesus didn't step in and save us, what would happen to all mankind?
They would die.
We would die. We would all be destroyed.